Hey everyone, welcome to Encore, and today we're going to make our homemade airbrush foundation and mixing medium, so keep watching.
Hey everyone, it's Corin, and you're watching EnKoreMakeup. Blend, blend, blend.
Hi, Corin, stop using my lipstick.
Hey everyone, welcome back. So I've been in absentia for quite a while, I know, right? Because show season started again, so that's kind of crazy. And in addition to that, of course, I got involved in this stage production of a chorus line, which I'm having such a great time. I only committed to a few days of rehearsals, but I ended up rehearsing almost every time because I'm having such a good time. It's a break for me, of course, and working with such an amazing cast, it's such a relief, such a great break for me. Plus, you know, I've been kind of neglecting stage for a while, and it's kind of getting into me, so being in this show really gave me a huge break, but unfortunately, of course, it took a lot of time as well, but I love the role that I'm playing. I'm playing Larry, and there's just so much choreography in the show and a lot of singing, and it's just such a great opportunity for me to really get, you know, theater and stage in my blood once again. So a great shout out to my fabulous cast. All of our shows are sold out. How cool was that? Yeah, totally sold out. So anyway, back to our topic for the day. We are going to make a homemade, okay, maybe semi-homemade airbrush foundation and airbrush mixing medium. So you can create not just foundation, but you can also create blushes, bronzers, eyeshadow. It's up to you from, you know, the end of this tutorial to where you want to take this. So let's begin with the stuff that you're going to need. So first off, you're going to need your containers. So I tend to recycle some of my bottles, and for this tutorial I'm actually going to use a couple of empty bottles. This is your standard 1 fluid ounce bottles. I keep them because I tend to like customize colors, and I usually recycle these bottles. And of course the most important part as well are these ball bearings. You know, that's going to be your kind of like mixer. So you're going to need that, and for the purpose of this video I actually marked this bottle into dots. Okay, so basically I divided the bottle into 4 because we're going to be working in a ratio of 4 parts. Okay, so I usually just eyeball this out, but for the purpose of this video I marked them for you guys, so that way we have an indication of how much stuff we're going to put in the bottle. Now the ratio we're going to be working with today will basically apply to any bottle that you're going to be using, because it's going to be pretty much general. We're going to use 4 parts, of course, 1 part, 1 part, 2 parts, things like that. So the size of the bottle is really kind of like irrelevant, but you know, because we're just using kind of like a part system. You're also going to need a secondary bottle, and for this demonstration I'm just going to use a smaller bottle because I want to make them in small amount. And because we're working in ratios, it wouldn't matter what size the bottle would be, but this is going to be our foundation bottle. Next, you're going to need some ingredients for the mixing medium, for the airbrush mixing medium. Now, I particularly tend to prefer water-based mixing medium just because some of my clients are a little sensitive to silicone base. But if you prefer silicone base, easily, you know, replace one of the parts with cyclomethicone or dimethicone. Now they are a little bit harder to buy because you can't just get them, you know, at your convenience store or anything like that, but at the same time you have to be careful because, you know, some people don't know that they are sensitive to silicone. So today I'm just going to demonstrate how to create a glycerin water-based mixing medium. Now of course, with that in mind, I have my glycerin in here. Now I got this from Rite Aid, and it's just a little over $2 for the bottle. Okay, and of course some purified water or bottled water is fine for this. Alright, and I am actually adding a kind of like built-in fixative spray to it, or a setting spray. Okay, and for that I'm just going to use my LiquiSet. Now you can also use model in a bottle, you can use all-nighter, you know, as long as it's a finishing spray and not a refresher spray. So you can't use Fix Plus. Okay, Fix Plus is a refresher spray. It's got a lot of botanicals, so it's probably not going to be ideal, but you want something that's alcohol based, you know, kind of that, just a little alcohol, you know, that's designed for skin and not rubbing alcohol. So any of the setting spray, or sorry, finishing spray would work, like All Nighter, Model in a Bottle. Of course, Skindinavia has amazing finishing spray as well. So those are the ingredients you're going to need for the medium. Now, as far as foundation, I'm just going to use my Purely Cosmetics in CORNSILK. That's the shade I'm in. And this is really ideal because a lot of you guys tend to have just kind of like a surplus of mineral makeup that's just laying around. And this is an opportunity for you guys to really make use of those surplus mineral foundation that you're not using because it's too messy or it doesn't last long and whatnot, and it's just collecting dust in your drawers. So turn them into an airbrush foundation or a tinted moisturizer or anything of that sort. So this is what I'm going to use to make my airbrush foundation for you today. Alright, so let's begin. So I'm going to start off with my empty recycled bottle right here, and it's got the ball bearings inside for the mixer, and like I said earlier, it's already marked right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our mixing medium first, our airbrush mixing medium. So playing with the ratio and what works for me is doing it in 4 parts like I indicated over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start with 1 part glycerin, 2 parts water, and then 1 part of the finishing spray, because that's going to be built into the airbrush foundation. One thing I hate is doing an airbrush foundation and then you're spritzing the finishing sprays, and then the marks of the spritz, okay, the drops of the spritz are actually making a mark on the look, and sometimes it's kind of hard to fix it because you have to go back to your airbrush and go over it again, which is defeating the purpose of a final finishing spray. So what I want to do is basically just build that into the airbrush foundation. So that's what the finishing spray, you know, basically kind of come to play. Alright, and that's what I'm going to add on. Now, for those of you guys who wanted to create a silicone based foundation, you basically fill that last quarter part with a mixture of cyclomethicone and dimethicone, okay, which again is hard to find. Alright, so we're going to start with creating our mixture. So here's my glycerin. So again, you're just basically going to fill 1 part of glycerin. Now I know I have so many questions when I made a video on glycerin that a lot of people are kind of scared because it says, you know, avoid contact in the eye area. No, that only applies if you're using it pure like this, because it's very kind of like a sugary syrup. It's really thick, and you don't want, of course, to apply that in full concentration to the eye. This is 99.5 glycerin, and you don't want that. But because we are diluting it, alright, it's going to be okay. Now, glycerin is commonly found in a lot of makeup ingredients. If you just read the ingredients, it'll say glycerin in it and stuff like that, so it's perfectly fine. Alright, so there's our marker right there. So that's 1 part glycerin. We're going to add our water. Okay, and it's going to be 2 parts water. I'm just going to use my bottled water, and like I said, usually I just eyeball this out, but for this video I made the marker for you guys. So there goes my 2 part water. So 1 part glycerin. You can see the glycerin is thicker right in the bottom. Okay, and then here's the 2 parts water, and now I'm going to add my finishing spray. Okay, and that's going to fill the remaining 1 part. And again, you can use your favorite finishing spray for this, or setting liquid whatsoever. There you go. So there's my other part. Alright, so now as you can see, there's separation. Alright, so there's water, there's the finishing spray, and then of course the thick part right here is your glycerin. So this is where these ball bearings comes to play, because you are going to mix all these up by shaking it. As you can hear, you know, the ball bearings are doing its thing, and you're going to be able to see that, you know, it's really mixing beautifully right here. So you're just going to shake, shake, shake. So just keep shaking that for about 30 seconds, okay? And then you're basically done with your airbrushable mixing medium. Now you can use this mixing medium to create your airbrush foundation, airbrush blush, airbrush eyeshadow, whatsoever. So you have your base right here. Okay, so now when is our mixing medium going to expire? Good question, right? So you're going to base that on the ingredients you use. So primarily we used our glycerin and we used water, okay? So this water expires in September of 2013, but the glycerin is going to expire in December of 2012. So basing on those two information, we already know that we go by whichever is going to expire first. So this is going to be expiring December of 2012. So therefore, our mixing medium is only going to be good until December of 2012. So on that note, make sure that that's indicated in the bottle. You can just write it with a Sharpie or anything like that on the bottom or on the side that it expires on that date. And then therefore keep an eye on that date so that way you know when to basically dispose of the leftover mixing medium. So now let's make our airbrush foundations. Now how do you determine how much mineral foundation you wanted in the bottle and how much of the mixing liquid? Now from observing from the different brands of airbrush makeup I have, they pretty much kind of like show the same kind of amount. This one right here is settled down to the bottom, and most of them kind of does this, so that's why you need to really shake the airbrush foundation to thoroughly mix it. It's about 1/3. I find that most of them are about 1/3 of the colorant, and then the rest pretty much is the mixing medium or the liquid medium. Alright, so I'm going to kind of like safely go with that, alright, to make it easy. Now if you want just a tinted moisturizer, cut the colorant in half. Alright, so that way it's nice and sheer and just kind of like a tinted moisturizer look. But if you're going for a full coverage, 1/3 I find is best. Okay, so now we're moving back to our foundation bottle that's empty. I'm just going to remove the reducer dropper. Alright, and it's got the mixing ball bearings in it already. So we're just going to put 1/3 foundation, the bottle, and then the rest is going to be our mixing medium. Okay, so now I filled 1/3 of the bottle with the mineral foundation, and all we're going to do is go back to our mixing medium, and we're basically just going to add the remaining parts with our airbrush mixing medium. There we go. So there goes your colorant right here, and then the rest is mixing medium. Okay, we're going to replace our dropper cap or our reducer cap, okay, and we're going to mix the two again. Okay, you can hear the ball bearings doing its work, and wait until it sounds like the ball bearings are in milk. So it's got kind of like that, kind of like thicker than water sound to it. Alright, and that's good. So there you go, there you have it. There's our airbrushable mixing foundation. Alright, very, very well mixed because of the ball bearings. And now that's ready to be applied on your airbrush gun. Okay, so now I'm going to demonstrate on how is this going to look applied on me using my airbrush. Okay, so now I'm actually going to test for coverage, and for that I'm actually going to use it on my birthmark. If my birthmark is fully covered, then I'm really happy with the coverage. So here is our homemade foundation. I'm just going to put probably about 6 to 8 drops. Okay, right into the tank of my airbrush. There you go. And let's see where this is going to take us. So here we go. Okay, so just going to see, and that is covering beautifully actually. Look at that. And it's got a built-in finishing spray to it. So there you go. Birthmark gone, yay, I'm happy. And there you have it. Your homemade foundation, mixing medium, airbrushable mixing medium, and you can take this from here on out. You can create your own blushes, eyeshadows, airbrush, tinted moisturizer. It's up to you from here on out. Thank you so much for joining me, and until next time, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.